The discoveries of the Kepler mission suggest that there are billions of habitable planets in our galaxy alone.
Dr. Greer has just exposed the government. In his books and documentaries, the world-renowned researcher broke his silence on the popular misconceptions about extraterrestrial life. But the most shocking revelation was the truth about the recent UFO sightings that have gotten everyone worried. While the world questioned the mission aliens have on our planet, one group kept trying to hide more detailed information about the sightings. What is this secret group, and what did Dr. Greer reveal about the sightings? There's also the question that what if some of these sightings aren't extraterrestrial at all, and they're actually advanced human-made technologies that have been hidden from the public for decades? Join us as we find out the answers to these and more that challenge our understanding of aliens. The strange extraterrestrial sightings. Dr. Stephen Greer, a ufologist, researcher, and former emergency room physician, claims that everything we think we know about aliens, UFOs, and extraterrestrial life is wrong. He says that a secret group, not chosen by the people or answerable to the president or Congress, is hiding the most important technologies and information in U.S. history. This means that the people in charge of the country don't really have control. And unlike what it sounds like, that's actually a big problem, and you're about to find out why. Dr. Greer thinks the lack of control is a worrying issue because that affects everything we believe. Greer's interest in this topic started when he was just 8 years old and saw a UFO in North Carolina. From then on, he dedicated himself to learning about extraterrestrial life and searching for evidence. He became a leader in the field of searching for alien intelligence, and is even called the father of the disclosure movement. Greer's story is uniquely inspirational because he went from being a doctor to becoming a prominent figure in the search for extraterrestrial life. He has written books, made documentaries, and is very passionate about finding out the truth about alien life and the secrets being kept from the public. Dr. Greer says that there is a hidden government within our country that is using technology from other worlds for bad purposes. This secret government is a threat to our nation and its people. In his book, Extraterrestrial Contact, Dr. Greer explains that aliens have been visiting Earth for thousands of years, and even more often in the last century, when we developed atomic weapons. He also claims that the military and industries that profit from war have taken alien spacecraft, studied them, and even built their own versions. Dr. Greer believes that there is evidence of aliens being on Earth for as long as humans have existed. This is very believable, as in August 1977, a radio telescope at Ohio State University picked up an extraordinary signal from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius. The intense 37-second pulse of radiation was so unexpected that the astronomer analyzing the data was compelled to write "wow" on the printout. What made this signal even more interesting was that it fell within a specific range of radio frequencies that are prohibited for use on Earth, making astronomers convinced it came from aliens. Natural sources of radiation from space typically emit signals across a broad spectrum of frequencies, but the "wow" signal was unusually narrow, raising more eyebrows and prompting astronomers to propose theories regarding it. Given that the closest star in that direction is 220 million light-years away, the signal's origin is even more confusing. Either an extraordinary astronomical event of many proportions or an advanced extraterrestrial civilization with a very powerful transmitter would have been required to generate such a signal. Even with all the ongoing efforts to explain its origin, the "wow" signal is still a strange and unsolved mystery. Meanwhile, Dr. Greer points to ancient cave paintings and historical artwork as his proof that aliens have existed for millennia, and he wants to use this evidence to force governments to share their secret information about aliens with the public. Dr. Greer thinks that it's time for the truth to come out, and that we should know about the existence of extraterrestrial life and the technology they've shared with us. He strongly believes that this knowledge could change our world for the better, but the secret government is trying to keep it hidden. How is Dr. Greer so sure, and how much does he really know about extraterrestrial life? Well, Dr. Greer founded two organizations, the Center for the Study of Extraterrestrial Intelligence and Advanced Research, to explore the possibility of friendly contact with beings from other worlds. His goal is to learn more about UFOs and extraterrestrial life, a topic that has fascinated him since childhood. Growing up, he read every book and magazine he could find on the subject. His interest was further sparked by his uncle, who helped design the spacecraft that landed on the moon in 1969. This family connection to space exploration inspired Greer to go deeper into the mysteries of the universe. A turning point came in 1973 when Greer had a remarkable encounter while hiking in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina. He saw a disc-shaped craft up close and interacted with its occupants. This experience convinced him that extraterrestrial life is real, but it also raised one question: what was he going to do with this knowledge? Greer felt compelled to take action, to explore the implications of this encounter and to learn more about the beings who visited him. This experience set him on a path of dedicated research and advocacy, driven by a desire to understand and connect with the unknown, and he was eventually successful in 1990 when he had more strange experiences that made him finally decide to take action and bring people together to explore the topic of UFOs and aliens. He wanted to create a team-based approach to investigating these phenomena, which led to the formation of CSET-1, which is an acronym that stands for Center for the Study of Extraterrestrial Intelligence. Operating from his basement in Asheville, CSET-1 aims to facilitate close encounters with extraterrestrial life and study them in great detail. The concept of close encounters was first introduced by Allen Hynek about 20 years earlier. CSET-Y categorizes close encounters into three types: C1, C2, and C3. C1 encounters involve seeing a UFO up close within 500 feet. C2 encounters involve physical evidence, such as radar tracks, landmarks, frightened animals, or broken branches. C3 encounters are the most intense, where people come face to face with aliens. These aliens are often described as short, gray humanoids, but sometimes they are reported to be winged creatures, shaggy hulks, or tall blondes resembling Rutger Hauer. As researchers continued to study UFO encounters, they added a new category called C4, which includes cases where humans enter alien spacecraft, either by choice or by force. Dr. Greer took it a step further by introducing the concept of close encounters of the fifth kind, or C5S, which involves people intentionally communicating with nearby alien spacecraft using methods like light, sound, and focused awareness. This approach goes beyond just observing UFOs from a distance. Instead, Greer and his team actively seek out and connect with extraterrestrial life. Greer's team doesn't just wait for UFO sightings to happen. They work with global teams to identify areas with a history of consistent UFO activity known as windows or hotspots. These areas have repeated patterns of sightings over time, often in specific geographic locations. When such an area is identified, CSET-Y sends its Rapid Mobilization Investigative Team, or RMIT for short, to explore and understand the phenomena. CSET-I has grown to have 20 local teams in various cities across the United States and Canada. These teams are made up of individuals who have undergone training in CSET-I's unique approach to making contact with extraterrestrial life. Around 100 people have completed the advanced training required to be considered for the Rapid Mobilization Investigative Team. But being part of RMIT is a challenging commitment. Members must be willing to leave their families and jobs on short notice to travel to UFO hotspots around the world, often for extended periods. They also need to cover their own expenses. Despite these demands, Dr. Greer's teams are dedicated to exploring the truth about extraterrestrial life. Dr. Greer has written 5 books and directed 5 feature-length documentaries, which have been viewed by nearly 1 billion people worldwide, and you'll be shocked by the secrets they've revealed. The Documentary of Revelations. Dr. Greer's latest work, The Lost Century and How to Reclaim It, examines the impact of a century-long cover-up of UFOs on human progress. He argues that this concealment has hindered our spiritual, cultural, and technological growth. Dr. Greer's documentaries focus on revealing the advanced technologies hidden in today's secret projects, which were inspired by visionaries like Nikola Tesla. He believes these technologies can solve our planet's problems and eradicate poverty within the next 15 to 20 years. Dr. Greer has dedicated himself to convincing experts from various fields to develop clean energy systems, making him a leading voice in transitioning our world from fossil fuels to sustainable energy. He imagines a future powered by revolutionary technologies that defy conventional physics, such as electromagnetic propulsion systems similar to those explored by Tesla and others in the early 20th century. Dr. Greer advocates for the disclosure of groundbreaking technologies like zero-point energy, which could eliminate pollution and poverty, and electromagnetic gravitics, enabling fast travel through space-time manipulation. He also explores consciousness-assisted technologies, harnessing human spiritual energy to achieve remarkable goals. By unveiling these innovations, Dr. Greer aims to transform our world and unlock a sustainable future. His work has the potential to rewrite the rules of physics and transform our understanding of what's possible, offering hope for a brighter, more sustainable tomorrow. Dr. Greer thinks that the biggest secret isn't about the existence of aliens. They're real and have been involved in secret government projects funded through questionable means. What's really shocking is that this has led to a secret government within our government, hidden from public view. This might sound hard to believe, but Dr. Greer argues that the government secrecy around UFOs is a serious issue. He says the problem isn't the aliens themselves, but the advanced technologies that have been developed and kept from the public. Dr. Greer believes that governments, especially in the US and other powerful countries, have been hiding information about UFOs and alien technologies for decades. He thinks this is because these technologies have the potential to disrupt the existing energy systems, especially fossil fuels, and change the world as we know it. By keeping this information secret, governments are trying to maintain control and protect the interests of those who benefit from the current system. Dr. Greer argues that this secrecy is harmful and that the public has a right to know about these technologies and the potential to transform our world. It doesn't end there. Dr. Greer also believes that if the government were to reveal the advanced technologies they've been hiding, it would revolutionize the way we generate power and solve many of the world's environmental and financial problems. This new energy source wouldn't rely on fossil fuels, which would greatly benefit the planet. In an article from NPR Illinois, the author gets into the history of government secrecy surrounding UFOs and how it has led to a breakdown in trust between citizens and their government over the past 75 years. The government's habit of hiding information about UFOs began in the mid-20th century, when reports of mysterious aerial phenomena started gaining attention. As more sightings and encounters were reported, the government's response was to conceal the truth, increasing public imagination and giving rise to conspiracy theories. By keeping the truth hidden, the government has suspicion and mistrust, leading people to wonder what else is being kept from them. Dr. Greer founded the Disclosure Project in 1993 to collect honest accounts from military and government personnel who have encountered UFOs or have knowledge of secret programs related to extraterrestrial life. By gathering these testimonies, the project aims to build a strong case for government transparency and push officials to release classified information to the public. The goal is to shed light on the truth about UFOs and extraterrestrial phenomena and to encourage open discussion about the potential implications of this knowledge. The Disclosure Project has played a crucial role in bringing the conversation about UFOs into the mainstream, moving it away from the fringes of conspiracy theory. Dr. Greer's efforts have helped legitimize the topic, making it more acceptable to discuss and explore. The project has also raised public awareness and encouraged a more open dialogue about the potential implications of extraterrestrial contact, technical suppression, and UFO sightings. By doing so, Dr. Greer hopes to remind institutions, including organized religion, political parties, and social movements, of their original goals and purposes, which often get lost over time. Dr. Greer's main argument is that the government is intentionally hiding advanced technologies related to UFOs, which could greatly benefit humanity. He believes that releasing these technologies, such as new energy systems and propulsion methods, could change the course of human history. For example, Greer suggests that sharing these technologies could lead to a world without fossil fuels, reducing pollution and tackling climate change at its core. But the deliberate suppression of these technologies has hindered scientific progress and perpetuated global inequality. The NPR Illinois article focuses on the concern that this technological suppression has allowed those in power to maintain control and continue profiting from the existing energy regime while the majority is still in the dark. By keeping these advanced technologies hidden, the powerful few ensure that the status quo remains unchanged, and the many continue to suffer the consequences of climate change, pollution, and economic inequality. Dr. Greer has also discussed the recent rise in UFO sightings and activity in his work. He suggests that this trend could be linked to the increasing development and testing of new technologies by both government and private agencies. Greer proposes that some of these UFO sightings might not be of alien origin, but rather the result of human-made technologies being tested and developed. This raises important questions about the true nature of these sightings and why they are being disguised as extraterrestrial activity. The NPR Illinois article also talks about the potential consequences of this increased activity on global safety. If the development of new technologies is still kept a secret, the outcomes could be more disastrous than you can imagine. The article implies that the lack of transparency and accountability in the development of these technologies could lead to unforeseen and potentially catastrophic consequences. By examining the recent uptick in UFO sightings and activity, Dr. Greer and the article aim to spark a conversation about the need for greater openness and scrutiny in the development of advanced technologies and the potential risks of keeping these innovations hidden from public view. The secrecy surrounding UFOs and extraterrestrial intelligence could lead to a dangerous arms race, with unpredictable consequences for the world. Dr. Stephen Greer's work, as discussed in the NPR Illinois article, mentions the need for transparency in this field. He believes that the public has a right to know the truth about what is happening behind closed doors, and that revealing these technologies could have a profound impact on humanity. Greer's call for transparency is not just about satisfying curiosity, but about addressing pressing global challenges like environmental degradation and economic inequality. By bringing these issues into the open, Greer hopes to foster a new era of innovation and progress based on openness, cooperation, and the pursuit of knowledge. The NPR article also provides valuable insights into the world of UFOs and the need for transparency in this field. It suggests that by focusing on these secrets, we can work towards a more equitable and sustainable future. Now, here's where things get even more interesting. For a long time, people have been interested in UFOs, but authorities and scientists haven't taken the topic seriously. But in recent years, there's been a change in how UFOs are discussed and handled. The U.S. government has started to acknowledge the existence of unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs, which is what UFOs are now called. Dr. Stephen Greer, who is also an expert on animal behavior and author of several books on government secrecy around UFOs, was interviewed on Vlad TV about the government's recent efforts to acknowledge UAPs and what this might mean. Dr. Greer has been saying for years that the U.S. government and other governments around the world have been hiding information about UFOs and extraterrestrial life. He believes that this secrecy started in the mid-20th century when people began reporting more UFO sightings and showing more interest in the topic. Greer thinks that the government has been keeping secrets about UFOs for a long time, and that this secrecy has only increased more interest and speculation about the topic. By acknowledging UAPs, the government may be starting to lift the veil of secrecy, but Greer believes there's still much more to be revealed. The government's initial response to UFO encounters were to hide and obscure information, which only fueled conspiracy theories. In a recent interview with Vlad TV, Dr. Greer explained that the government's new approach of acknowledging the existence of unidentified aerial phenomena is a significant shift from their previous policy of denial and secrecy. But Greer believes that this move is not a sign of increased transparency, but rather a sophisticated information management strategy aimed at controlling how the public perceives the issue. Dr. Greer also emphasized that the government's acknowledgement of UAPs does not equal full disclosure. While the government has admitted that these phenomena exist and warrant further research, they are still withholding critical information about the deeper aspects of the situation. Greer argues that this partial disclosure is a way for the government to maintain control over the narrative and avoid revealing the truth about UAPs and extraterrestrial life. Dr. Greer believes that the U.S. government's approach to UFOs is a deliberate effort to gradually introduce the idea of extraterrestrial life to the public without causing widespread panic. By using terms like unidentified aerial phenomena instead of flying saucers, the government can control the narrative and avoid sensitive topics. This strategic approach allows them to prepare the population for the reality of UFOs without shocking them. According to Greer, the government's goal is to manage the conversation and steer it in a direction that avoids controversy. The U.S. government's recognition of UFOs, now referred to as UAPs, has significant implications for national security and public awareness. Dr. Greer suggests that this new openness could mark the beginning of a new era in how we understand and explore these phenomena. By acknowledging UAPs, the government may be paving the way for further research and discovery, potentially leading to a deeper understanding of extraterrestrial life and its implications for humanity. Dr. Greer thinks that the government's decision to reveal information about UAPs might have a secret motive. He believes that the government might be using this disclosure to justify increasing military spending and developing new technologies. Greer is particularly concerned about the militarization of space and the possibility that UAPs are being used as a cover for creating new weapons. He suggests that some UAP sightings might be advanced human technology rather than alien spacecraft, which raises important questions about the true nature of these sightings and the government's reasons for acknowledging them. That's not all. The government's shady plans. Dr. Greer also draws the world's attention to the involvement of the military-industrial sector in the UAP phenomenon, suggesting that there may be a hidden agenda behind the scenes and under everyone's noses. He worries that the government's recognition of UAPs could be used to justify further military spending and the development of new weapons, rather than a genuine attempt to understand and disclose the truth about extraterrestrial life. Dr. Greer believes that there is a close relationship between the secrecy surrounding UAPs and major defense contractors who have a lot to lose if things change. He thinks that these companies are developing advanced technologies, possibly using technology from retrieved UFOs. Greer suggests that these contractors have a strong interest in keeping UAPs secret, as it allows them to continue developing and profiting from these technologies without public scrutiny. Dr. Greer also believes in the existence of a shadow government, and if is exactly what it sounds like: hidden authority that wields power and influence over the U.S. without the knowledge or approval of the official government. He is convinced that this shadow government is responsible for concealing the most significant aspects of UAP technology. Greer thinks that this hidden structure is working behind the scenes to keep the truth about UAPs and their technology from the public, and that it is closely tied to the defense contractors who are developing these technologies. This shadow government, Greer believes, is the real force behind the secrecy and misinformation surrounding UAPs. Dr. Greer believes that the secrecy surrounding advanced technologies is meant to maintain the status quo and prevent disruption to the existing economic and political systems. He advocates for full disclosure, arguing that the withheld information has the potential to transform society and solve pressing issues like climate change and poverty. Greer is convinced that revealing these technologies can bring about significant positive change, but acknowledges the challenges in achieving true disclosure. Dr. Greer recognizes that there are powerful interests that stand to lose from revealing this information, so it will require the efforts of activists, scholars, and concerned individuals to overcome the barriers to disclosure. While Dr. Greer sees the U.S. government's recent statement on UAPs as a potential step towards transparency, he is still very doubtful about their true intentions. He wonders if the government's goal is genuine disclosure or simply a way to maintain control over the narrative and prevent true transparency. Regardless of this, Greer is hopeful that continued pressure and awareness can lead to meaningful disclosure and a better future for all. Dr. Greer is encouraging the public to stay informed and demand more transparency from governments around the world, including the U.S., about UAPs and extraterrestrial life. He believes that other powerful countries may also have information about these phenomena and that the public has a right to know. While the government's recognition of UAPs is a step forward, it also raises new questions about what is still being kept secret and why. Dr. Greer's goal is to reveal the truth, no matter how difficult it may be. On the London Real podcast, Dr. Greer shares more about his life's work and the importance of seeking truth and having a global conversation about the implications of alien contact. He is of the opinion that understanding the truth about UAPs and extraterrestrial life can have a profound impact on humanity, and that it's important to have an open and honest discussion about the potential consequences of this knowledge. Greer's passion for the subject of UFOs and alien technology is evident when he talks about how it could revolutionize the world. He discusses how the public's perception of UFOs is changing, and even government officials are now acknowledging their existence and taking them seriously. This shift in attitude has brought the topic out of the realm of conspiracy theories and into the mainstream. But Dr. Greer notes that not all UFO sightings can be attributed to alien activity, but rather to advanced human-made devices developed in secret by governments and private companies. These human-made technologies, Dr. Greer explains, are the result of decades of classified research, often funded by black budgets that are not publicly disclosed. He finds it interesting to consider the potential future implications of both alien and human technologies and how they might intersect. Dr. Greer's thoughts on alien technology and its potential impact on humanity are fascinating. He believes that the advanced technologies used by UFOs, which he calls zero-point energy, could transform life on Earth if fully developed and implemented. This technology could provide a limitless source of clean energy, solving the global energy crisis and reducing environmental damage and economic inequality. Dr. Greer thinks that this technology could be a game changer for humanity, allowing us to live in a more sustainable and equitable world. Dr. Greer also believes that alien civilizations have been visiting Earth for thousands of years, shaping human history in ways we are only now beginning to understand. He thinks that these extraterrestrial beings are not hostile, as often depicted in science fiction, but are genuinely concerned about the well-being of our planet and its inhabitants. Dr. Greer suggests that these advanced civilizations may be trying to help us, and that their technologies could hold the key to solving some of humanity's most pressing problems. Dr. Greer shares stories of various encounters and communications with aliens, which he and others have experienced. These interactions, he says, often involve higher states of consciousness and telepathy, and are with civilizations that are far more advanced than us, both spiritually and technologically. Dr. Greer is convinced that openly and peacefully connecting with these beings will usher in a new era of global cooperation and wisdom. In the final episode of the podcast, Dr. Greer urges governments and international leaders to be more transparent and collaborative in addressing the UFO mystery, alien technology, and the question of alien contact. He demands an end to the decades-long silence surrounding these issues, insisting that the public has a right to know the truth. Dr. Greer believes that humanity's future depends on our ability to embrace these new technologies and work together to create a better world. Dr. Greer is urging us to join him in demanding transparency and global cooperation in revealing the truth about UFOs and alien contact. He invites us to be active participants in this journey, to imagine a world transformed by the advanced technologies and wisdom of extraterrestrial civilizations. By listening to his podcast, we are not only learning more about this fascinating topic, but we are also being called to take action. Whether we are skeptics or believers, Dr. Greer's insights inspire us to engage with these issues, seek out the truth, and envision a future where humanity and extraterrestrial civilizations coexist in peace, cooperation, and mutual understanding. Now that we know governments are trying to hide information about extraterrestrial life from us, it's essential to stay informed, stay vigilant, and stay open-minded. By doing so, we can work together to create a brighter future for all of us. Do you think aliens really exist, and the government is actually behind the hidden information about the recent UFO sightings? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to leave a like, share it with your family and friends, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our next updates. Also, click the next video on your screen to enjoy more exciting content.